HMP Parc, a prison in trouble, an entire system in crisis. 10 prisoners have died at this privately run prison in South Wales in just 3 months.
I genuinely got concerned that my son won't come out there. I haven't done sleep for the last 3 days.
This mother, we're calling her Caris, says her son was brutally attacked by 3 other inmates just before a disturbance ripped through one wing of the jail on Friday night.
He was cut from his ear to his mouth and several other places on his face, also on his neck, and he's cut from his elbow to his wrist on his arm. He can't use his hand anymore. All his nerves in his face have been cut.
As her son waited for help, other prisoners told her chaos unfolded on another part of the wing.
It was carnage, it was chaos. There was tables thrown through the air. My son was left covered in blood for I don't know how long.
Parc is one of the biggest prisons in England and Wales, holding around 1,700 men. It's run by the private security company G4S, which won a new 10-year contract just 2 years ago.
What do we want? Justice! We want it now!
But last week, families of some of the prisoners who died launched a campaign demanding the government take back control of the jail. The string of deaths in a short period of time has put a huge focus on Parc. 4 have been directly linked to drugs, and there are real concerns about the emergence of new and dangerous synthetic opioids in the system. Prisoners leaving today told us they're causing chaos and real harm. Zach Griffith spent time in Parc for drug offences at the end of last year.
There's a huge infestation of drugs in the jail. We're talking about synthetic cannabinoids, fentanyl, nitrazines. These drugs are very potent, and when they're being transported into the jail, the mixtures are not right and people are simply just dying. They're going overdosing. Some people may not even be users and they could use these drugs and the tolerance is low. We're talking about fentanyl, opiates. They're just going over, they're overdosing.
Just 3 weeks ago, the prisons minister told MPs that while the prison service had issued an improvement notice to G4S, he had confidence in how the jail was being run.
We consider that Parc is recognising the challenges here, a well-run prison and an effective prison.
There is a degree of reluctance to accept reality here. We've got a serious problem in Parc, but I'm afraid it mirrors many of the problems we see across the system. And the ironic thing is that 4 or 5 years ago, maybe we'd be talking about handing the system back, about nationalising Parc, because these problems are so serious and entrenched. But you'd be handing them back to the organisation that's responsible for Wandsworth, for Bedford, for Woodhill, for an enormous number of state sector prisons that are very close to being in the same shape. Insufficient numbers of staff, not clearly or confidently in charge, a tsunami of drugs that is operated by organised crime.
G4S told us it dealt swiftly with what it called one short-lived incident and an unrelated altercation last Friday. They said we have robust security measures in place to prevent contraband entering the prison and care for prisoners to a high standard. Today, in court, a prison officer from Parc admitted smuggling drugs into the jail with the intention of dealing. She will be sentenced at a later date.